The story begins with Hiroto, a man whose life has completely changed. Just 1 month ago, he married the sweet and lovely Miyako. He remembers his lonely past, filled with work and solitude. Now, life is happy and peaceful. He even has a stepdaughter, the cheerful high schooler, Sakurako. One evening, Miyako realizes they're out of curry-roo. She heads to the store, which is just nearby. Hiroto is left alone with Sakurako for a moment. He reflects that there's only one problem in his otherwise perfect life. Suddenly, a voice cries out, "Papa!" Sakurako grabs his hand, pulling him toward the couch. She wants to play video games until her mom gets back. She sits down, pressing uncomfortably close to him. He looks tense, a bead of sweat on his forehead. She tells him she isn't going to hold back. He just smiles, thinking it's only a game. A moment later, the screen flashes, "Game over." He stares at the TV in total disbelief. As a victory celebration, Sakurako leaps onto him. She wraps him in a tight, overwhelming hug. He can only stare forward in a state of pure shock. He gently explains that she's a high schooler now, and that maybe she shouldn't be quite so sticky. Her joyful expression vanishes in an instant. She looks at him with hurt eyes and asks, "Why?" The air grows thick with unspoken tension. Her hand lands softly on his thigh. He freezes, calling out her name in alarm. Leaning in close, her cheeks flushed, she begins to whisper, "I just want Papa to—" He recoils in panic, shouting at her to stop. Just then, the front door opens. Miyako is home. The tense moment is completely shattered. At dinner, Sakurako is her usual bubbly self. She happily recounts playing games with her dad. Hiroto starts to think he imagined the whole thing. Then Sakurako mentions her school's upcoming tournament. She says all her friends are inviting their boyfriends. "But I'm fine if Papa comes instead." Hiroto goes completely still, his blood running cold. He looks over at her and finally sees it. A sly, knowing smirk that chills him to the bone. A man lets out a deep, tired yawn at his office desk. His colleague smirks, making a crude joke about his family. He teases him about living with a charming high schooler. He leans in, whispering about so-called happy accidents. The man's face darkens. He slams his can on the table. He roars that it's enough. He declares he would never lay a hand on his own daughter. He says the very thought of it is nothing short of disgusting. The co-worker gulps, frantically trying to apologize. On the train home, the man reflects on his own words. He remembers a time she hugged him from behind. He admits to himself his own heart skipped a beat. He grits his teeth, resolving to become a proper father. He arrives at his quiet apartment, announcing he's home. He slumps onto the sofa, sighing with deep exhaustion. Suddenly, a pair of hands covers his eyes from behind. A playful voice asks him to guess who. He freezes. He knows that voice. It's his stepdaughter, Toko-chan. She tells him her mom isn't home yet. Then her entire demeanor shifts. She leans in close, whispering that it's just the two of them. She grabs his tie, pulling him sharply forward, and then she sits right on his lap. His heart starts pounding in his chest. She buries her face in his neck, inhaling deeply. She tells him he smells so nice, calling him Papa. He's completely stunned, sweat pouring down his face. He grabs her arm, telling her to stop. She looks up at him, her eyes wide with hurt. She asks if it's bad for them to be closer. He shouts that there's nothing wrong with that at all. She then says she saw him and her mom yesterday. A bolt of panic shoots through him, but before he can respond, she bursts into tears. She grabs his shirt, sobbing that she was just lonely. She begs him not to leave her and her mom. A wave of understanding washes over him. He gently tells her he would never, ever leave them. She looks up, tears in her eyes, and asks for a hug. He smiles softly and agrees. She clings to him, promising they'll all be a happy family. The school bell rings, signaling the end of another day. From his desk, Kato watches a girl in the hallway. It's Toko, the most popular girl in school. He quickly looks away, feeling like a creep for staring. His friend startles him, asking if he was gawking at Tuko again. Kato denies it, but his flushed face tells a different story. His friend sighs, telling him it's a lost cause. She explains that countless boys have confessed to Tuko over the years, but not a single one of them has ever gotten to date her. Kato knows he has no chance. He looks down, defeated. Meanwhile, Tuko's friends ask her about her type. She smiles dreamily, saying she wants someone like her papa. Her friends erupt in confusion, teasing her about liking older men. Outside, the sky suddenly darkens as thunder rumbles in the distance. A teacher asks Kato to run a quick errand. He needs to tell the tennis club that practice is canceled due to the rain. Kato hesitates for a moment. He knows the girls are there, but he agrees and starts running, trying to beat the storm. In the gym, Tuko volunteers to grab a forgotten score sheet. As Kato rounds a corner, he almost collides with her. He freezes in place. It's Tuko. At that exact moment, the rain begins to pour down heavily. They stand together, trapped under the shelter of an awning. His heart starts to pound violently in his chest. He manages to stammer out the message about the cancellation. To his surprise, Tuko just giggles, finding the situation amusing. She tells him his eagerness to help is what makes him a great guy. Kato's eyes go wide with shock. She adds that everyone likes him, and his grades are good too. He's completely overwhelmed by the praise, blushing furiously. Then Toko's cheerful expression turns serious. She looks him straight in the eye, her gaze unwavering. And then she asks, "Kato-kun, do you like me?" The world seems to stop. His heart hammers against his ribs. He panics, his mind racing. She must have seen him staring earlier. He stutters, asking why she would ask such a thing. He's certain that she must be angry with him, but she just waits patiently for his answer. Taking a shaky breath, he decides to be honest. He looks right at her and admits it. Yes, he likes her. A gentle, knowing smile spreads across Tuko's face. She says she respects him a lot, as a friend and a classmate. She tells him if he ever needs help, she'll be there for him. Kato is left utterly confused by her response. He just thanks her. The rain continues to fall, filling an awkward, heavy silence. Tuko then asks him a very strange question. She asks if Match has someone that he likes. Kato is baffled. He thought he just answered that. Before he can respond, she speaks again, a soft smile on her lips. She says that yes, she does have someone she likes. Her entire face glows as she thinks of this person. As long as she has him, she says, she doesn't need anyone else. Kato's heart sinks. He finally understands. She was never, ever talking about him. Just then, her friends arrive with an umbrella. As they leave together, Tuko turns back with a playful smile. She winks, telling him to keep their conversation a secret. Kato is left standing alone, watching them go. He walks through the empty school hallways, completely dejected. He wonders who this mystery guy could possibly be. He has no idea how he'll even face her on Monday. As he nears the school exit, he sees Tuko again. She's standing alone by the doors, looking out at the rain. He realizes she must have forgotten her umbrella. He nervously approaches, offering her his spare one. She smiles politely and says, "Thank you, but I'm fine." He watches, confused, as she steps out into the heavy downpour. Suddenly, another boy runs into view, dashing through the rain. Tuko's entire face lights up with pure, unadulterated joy. She runs towards him with a happy, beaming cry of, "Papa!" Kato can only stare in disbelief. He watches as the two happily walk away from the school, sharing one single umbrella together in the rain. He finally sees the face she makes when she's truly happy. The face she made when she talked about the one she loved. It was never about a boyfriend. It was never about some secret older man. It was always about him, her father. Kato stands alone under the awning, umbrella in hand. A small, quiet laugh escapes his lips, a laugh of disbelief, and then of profound relief. All this time, he'd been completely and utterly wrong. And so had every other boy in school. He looks down at the spare umbrella in his hand. A small, hopeful smile touches his lips. Maybe, he thinks to himself, maybe he still has a chance after all. The pounding rain finally seems to be letting up, and for the first time all afternoon, the sky begins to clear. A storm rages outside, thunder rumbling through the night. Inside, a young woman stands, completely soaked by the rain. She looks over her shoulder and whispers, Papa. Then she turns, a seductive smile on her face. Her school uniform is pulled down, exposing her shoulders. She asks if he would give her a hand. A man lets out a scream of pure terror, and then he wakes up with a gasp. He touches his forehead, sighing in relief. Just a dream. But he freezes. He's not alone. He sits up with a jolt, his eyes wide with shock. A young girl, Toko, is sleeping soundly in his bed. He stammers, asking what she is doing here. She wakes up, a sweet, innocent smile on her face. She explains that he was having a nightmare. He tells her she can't just climb into his bed. Especially not, he says, when she's half naked. She looks down, confused. But I'm wearing shorts. He slams his forehead onto the bed in frustration. She just looks on, worried, asking if Papa is okay. Later, she asks him if he has any plans for the day. He sighs, admitting he's finished his book. Tuko's eyes light up. Let's go on a date then. He stares, completely stunned by her proposal. She finally admits that there's something she wants to buy. She emerges from her room in a beautiful white dress. Ta-da! She says, twirling happily. Pretty, right? He blushes, thinking to himself she looks just like an idol. On the street, he feels people staring at them. But Tuko is beaming, happily tugging on his arm. She declares that they're family, no matter what anyone thinks. He wonders what she could possibly want to buy. His heart sinks. She's led him to a lingerie shop. She cheekily holds up a black lace set. What do you think? She asks with a sly smile. His face turns bright red, his jaw hitting the floor. And then Tuko starts giggling. She bursts into laughter. You should have seen your face. The real store, she explains, is an antique shop next door. She finds what she was looking for, a small wooden music box. It's a birthday present for her mom, she says with a smile. He tells her it's a wonderful and thoughtful gift. Elsewhere, a different girl stares at her phone, annoyed. Her gaze drifts up, and she sees them walking together. It's him, and Tuko, smiling happily on his arm. The woman's eyes go wide in disbelief. A slow, cunning smile spreads across her face. She tells her friend she just saw something very interesting. A girl with long hair sits quietly with her friends, but her expression is distant, lost in her own world. Later, she sits alone in a cafe, looking downcast. On social media, however, she's a star named Eureka, a profile with thousands of followers, the likes pouring in. At school, her friends marvel at her growing fame. Nearby, the school's most popular girl, Sakurako, just smirks. She coolly claims she doesn't care about such things. Classmates praise Sakurako, saying truly cute girls don't need social media. The comment makes Eureka's face twist in frustration. She turns her back on her friends, needing a moment alone. Once she's by herself, a profound smile spreads across her face. A painful memory begins to surface. Her mother's demanding voice scolds a younger Eureka. She asks why she can't be number one after a bad audition. A tearful Eureka asks what she can even do. Her mother holds her close, saying it's all for her own good. She whispers that Eureka can do better, can't she? The memory shifts. Her mother visits the school. She asks someone to point out the girl who got first place. A hand points toward a smiling, cheerful girl. That girl, the voice says. It's Sakurako. Eureka's mother watches with a wistful expression. She whispers that she wishes Sakurako was her daughter. The words hit Eureka like a physical blow. Her world completely shatters in that moment. She remembers Sakurako's effortless popularity in the halls. She thinks back to the one thought that consumed her. If only you weren't here. Back in the present, Sakurako approaches with a kind smile. She tells Eureka she can talk to her about any problems. Eureka forces a sweet smile, thanking her for the offer. But a dark thought burns behind her eyes. I'm going to take my place back from this bitch. She has finally found Sakurako's one weakness. It's a single photograph she holds in her hand. The photo shows Sakurako with a boy, a violation of school rules. Soon, whispers echo through the hallways. Students huddle together, staring at a phone. They ask each other if that's Sakurako in the picture. Eureka stands alone on a balcony, a triumphant smirk on her face. Her place, she thinks to herself, is finally hers again. A blonde girl smiles, plotting to humiliate a classmate. In the classroom, whispers are spreading like wildfire. A student shoves a phone in his friend's face. "What's going on?" the boy asks, confused. On the screen, a scandalous photo, Sugar Daddy. It shows their classmate, Nishi Toko, with an older man. The picture was sent to everyone who stayed late yesterday. Who would do something so horrible? Just then, the classroom door slides open. Nishi Toko herself walks in with a cheerful, "Good morning." The entire class falls silent, staring. Toko stops, her bright smile faltering. She looks around the room, the picture of bewilderment. She asks them what's wrong, her voice full of concern. Her friends rush over, asking if she's okay. Another student hesitantly shows her the phone. Toko stares at the photo, her expression unreadable. She thinks, should I get angry or should I cry? A single tear forms in the corner of her eye, and then she lets out a small, quiet giggle. She looks up, her cheeks flushed with a shy smile. She tells them, "That's my dad, you know?" The class freezes, utterly stunned. Toko quickly launches into her explanation. Her real father passed away when she was a child. The man in the photo is her mother's new husband. She admits it's complicated, but he's a very kind person. And when they get along, her mother looks so happy. The tension in the room instantly shatters into relief. Students start laughing, apologizing for the mistake. Only one person isn't smiling. The blonde, Kanazawa Yurika, watches from her desk. She thinks, why is everyone being tricked by this girl? Kato, the class representative, abruptly stands. He demands to know who started this vicious rumor. He calls it a crime, nothing less than defamation. The culprit, he declares, must apologize to Nishi-san. The students agree, wondering who it could be. They realize it was someone who stayed late yesterday. One boy's heart begins to pound in his chest. His blood runs cold. He was the only one. But Toko raises her hand, looking distressed. She says she doesn't want to suspect her own classmates. She pleads with them not to search for a culprit. Yurika watches, her plan completely in ruins. She expected Tuko to be ostracized. Instead, she's the victim everyone wants to protect. The final school bell chimes for the day. Toko spots Yurika across the emptying classroom. She approaches her with a bright, friendly smile. Toko asks if Yurika is on cleaning duty today. Yurika mumbles that she's just covering for a friend. Toko beams, asking Yurika to please take care of me. They are soon left alone in the quiet classroom. Tuko's sweet smile transforms into a knowing smirk. She says the cleaning duty is just an excuse, isn't it? Why act innocent when no one's looking? She asks. Toko then bursts out laughing, a genuine, full-throated laugh. Yurika finally gives in, dropping her own act. She asks how Toko found out it was her. She taunts her, saying there's absolutely no proof. But Tuko's expression suddenly softens into sadness. Tears begin to well up in her eyes. She says she's so glad Yurika took that picture of them. Yurika stares, confused. That picture? Tuko smiles, a dangerous glint in her eye. She says it's not good to just keep receiving things. So she found a little gift for Yurika too. She calmly pulls out her own phone. On the screen is a photo of Yurika from years ago. She's in a frilly idol costume with blonde pigtails. Yurika freezes, her face draining of all color. Toko casually mentions she heard about the stalker fan, the fan who forced Yurika's family to move towns. Yurika screams, lunging desperately for the phone. She cries that she doesn't even want to remember it. She demands to know how Tuko could have such a thing. The sweet smile on Tuko's face is gone. Her eyes are now cold and hard as steel. She tells Yurika she doesn't care what people say about her. But if anyone dares to lay a hand on her papa, she will not be able to forgive it. The threat hangs heavy in the silent room. A classmate walks in, and the moment is shattered. Tuko's cheerful mask snaps right back into place. She waves goodbye, saying she'll see them all tomorrow. Yurika is left behind, shaking and horrified. She thinks, how stupid of me to expose my weakness. She won't be scared. She's come too far to back down. She will destroy Toko, even if it destroys her too. A young man stands in a doorway, lost in thought. He nervously adjusts the collar of his work shirt. Lights dot the windows of an apartment building late at night. He recalls an older colleague at the office looking distraught. The man recounted how his own daughter told him he stinks. The young man's eyes widen in silent, personal dread. He feels a cold chill run right down his spine. Suddenly, a door slides open with a loud rattle. A young girl with dark hair pops her head in excitedly. She shouts out with a cheerful, "Aha! Papa!" He flinches back, his face a mask of pure shock. Sweat drips down his cheek as he clutches his shirt. Later, he stands before the bathroom mirror, looking stressed. He sees a sudden reflection that isn't his own. His heart pounds as he calls out her name. "Totoko!" She stands right behind him, her expression calm and curious. She asks him simply what he's doing. Toko wanders over to the washing machine, humming thoughtfully. She turns back to him with a very direct look. She asks if he's worried that he smells like an old man. He lets out a strangled cry, completely stunned. The words "old man smell" echo in his mind. He thinks that hearing her say it is a massive shock. He can only manage a dumbfounded, "Eh?" Tuko leans in, her eyes crinkling into a wide, mischievous smile. She eagerly offers to check it out for him. Before he can even begin to process this, she moves. She presses herself against his back in a sudden, tight embrace. His face, seen over her shoulder, is one of total alarm. She buries her cheek into his shoulder, holding him close. He starts sweating profusely, his nerves completely shot. He yells out in a panic for her to wait. He screams her name, desperate for her to stop. And then, she pulls back just enough to smile, her cheeks flushed. She happily announces that he smells nice. His mind goes completely blank, his expression frozen in place. Moment later, he's crumpled on the floor in a heap. He looks utterly exhausted and emotionally overwhelmed. He thinks to himself that this is certainly a relief, but it was also, without a doubt, terrifying. A man named Hiroto waits nervously in a cafe. The woman he loves, Miyako, sits across from him. She offers a comforting smile. She tells him her daughter will arrive any minute. Hiroto's eyes widen. He lets out a startled noise. His hands fidget anxiously on his lap. Miyako gently asks if he's nervous to meet Tuko. A single bead of sweat rolls down his temple. With a sheepish laugh, he admits that he is. He has no idea what to say to her. Miyako places her hand reassuringly over his. She tells him everything will be fine. Toko, she says, is a very nice girl. A dreamy look crosses Miyako's face. She wonders aloud if she deserves such a good daughter. Hiroto watches her, his heart filled with warmth. His thoughts drift into a haze of memories. A young Tuko peeks shyly from behind a door. She clutches her bag, her eyes wide. In another memory, she stands alone in a classroom. She looks small and a little lost. The scene shifts to a bright office space. Miyako smiles at Hiroto from across their desks. He looks flustered, a blush creeping up his neck. Another flash. A child's face fills the frame. Her mouth opens in a tiny gasp of shock. And then, it breaks into a radiant smile. "Papa!" she shouts, her voice full of joy. The memory dissolves into a quiet kitchen scene. A pot simmers gently on the stove. Miyako holds a warm mug, her face full of concern. She's talking with her sister. She asks if this new life can really work. Her sister's voice is full of confidence. "You chose him," she says. "It'll work out." Miyako's face lights up with a relieved smile. She closes her eyes, a silent wish for the future. Her sister calls out gently to Tuko, a pinky promise between mother and daughter. Miyako asks, "They all be happy together." Tuko mirrors the promise, her smile soft. "This time," she whispers with hopeful eyes. Back in the present, a glass clinks on the table. Hiroto is sitting bolt upright, his posture stiff. He clears his throat to begin his introduction. He states his full name, Hiroto Nishi. He sheepishly adds that he's dating Miyako. He lets out a nervous little tee-hee. Suddenly, a peal of laughter breaks the silence. It's Toko, doubled over and giggling. Miyako grins, telling her she sounds like a robot. Hiroto freezes, a mortified look on his face. Miyako tells her daughter to say a proper hello. The laughter fades. Toko looks up at him. She offers a bright, friendly smile. "I'm Tuko Saiki," she says warmly. "It's nice to finally meet you." Miyake beams, hoping they'll get along. Hiroto stares, completely stunned. He braced himself for a cold shoulder. He hadn't expected this warm welcome at all. A deep blush spreads across his face. He manages to stammer, Me too." Tuko suddenly leans in closer, her eyes sparkling. She begins rapidly listing personal details. "My birthday is June 24th. I'm good at the piano. And I love burgers and omeries?" Hiroto's head spins, trying to process it all. She looks him dead in the eye. "Please remember everything," she insists. Then she taps her chin, trying to think of more. Hiroto feels a surge of earnest emotion. He leans forward, his hands clasped together. He asks eagerly if he can take notes. A quiet moment of reflection settles over him. He thinks about how worried he was before. But this feels right. He's so glad. He looks at the two of them, the tender and kind Miyako, the easygoing and friendly Tuko. He pictures a future life filled with happiness. He sees their hands linked together as a family. But not all memories are so warm. A sudden flash of another girl. She sits at a desk, her expression somber. A heart pounds violently in someone's chest. Then, a new woman appears at Hiroto's side. She's blonde, beautiful, and clinging to his arm. "Whoa," he yelps, shocked by her sudden closeness. The next day, the classroom is deceptively calm. Yoshida Kirari watches her classmates from the sidelines. She knows there's a hidden social hierarchy here, and she sees herself firmly at the bottom, a self-proclaimed loner, content in her quiet world. She finds her true peace in the empty art room. But then the door slides open. It's Nishi, the most beautiful girl in school. She asks if she can come in. She wants to have lunch with Yoshida. Yoshida is stunned, asking why she's even here. Nishi just smiles, saying the classroom was tiresome. Then, she makes another strange request. She asks to take over Yoshida's cleaning duty. Completely confused, Yoshida agrees. Nishi's face lights up with gratitude. She grabs Yoshida's hands, calling her by her first name. For the first time, Yoshida feels like her name shines. She's overwhelmed by this simple kindness. But after they part ways, a question lingers. Why did Nishi really want her cleaning duty? A seed of suspicion begins to grow. She follows Nishi down the sunlit hall. Peeking around a corner, she holds her breath. She sees Nishi tenderly embracing another girl. Yoshida's heart hammers in her chest. A silent scream is caught in her throat. She turns and runs, not looking where she's going. She trips, crashing hard to the polished floor. Looking up, she meets the cold eyes of Kanazawa-san, the very girl Nishi was holding. Kanazawa scoffs, calling her clumsy. "Maybe you should lose some weight," she says. She walks away, leaving Yoshida shattered. Later, Kanazawa is seen leaving school alone. She says she has some business to take care of. A man rushes past, worried he'll miss his train. Suddenly, Kanazawa collapses right into his arms. She whispers that she feels dizzy and anemic. The flustered man agrees to help her. As he leads her away, a sly smile crosses her face. A man and a woman sit on separate park benches. She holds a water bottle, offering a sweet smile. She thanks him, assuring him she's all right now. He still looks worried, asking how she's feeling. He gives a small smile, saying he's just heading home. He's simply glad that she's feeling better. As he turns to go, she calls out for him to wait. He freezes. Her hand is holding his. He looks down, utterly bewildered by the gesture. She gently touches the gold band on his finger. A wedding ring. He stammers, asking her what's wrong. She looks up at him, her cheeks flushed. She says a kind man like him must have a wonderful family. His heart gives a nervous thud in his chest. She touches her own cheek, her expression pained. She confesses that she feels alone, even when she's home. She begs him to stay with her a little longer. She promises to do anything he wants as thanks. He forcefully pulls his hand away. He tells her to hold on, completely flustered. He says that kind of thing is a bit much for him. Her face falls. She offers a quiet apology. He quickly says his goodbyes and walks away. He wonders to himself if it was all some kind of scam. He glances down at the ring on his hand. The scene shifts. Yurika is walking when her phone rings. She answers, confused. It's her mother. Her mother's voice is strangely cheerful. She tells Yurika a friend has come to visit her. Yurika is immediately suspicious. Her mother hates her friends. Her mother then reveals who the guest is, the top-ranked student from their school. Yurika's face drains of all color. It can't be. The single word "why" screams through her mind. She takes off, running through the darkening city streets. She throws her front door open with a crash. Her mother stands in the entryway, looking startled, and next to her, a girl in a school uniform. The girl turns, a bright, cheerful smile on her face. She sweetly welcomes Yurika-chan home. A girl, Yurika, stops dead in her tracks. A classmate is standing in her home's entryway. Yurika's face is a mask of pure shock. She asks what her classmate is doing here. Her mother enters, calling Yurika's name sharply. She scolds Yurika for her rude greeting. Her eyes then narrow on Yurika's casual clothes. She asks where her school uniform is. Yurika stammers that she went clothes shopping. Her mother's expression hardens, demanding a receipt later. She turns to the classmate, her face softening into a warm smile. The classmate beams, thanking her with perfect politeness. The mother is completely charmed by the display. She praises the girl's beauty and diligence. She sighs, wishing her own daughter was more like this. The classmate looks up with innocent, wide eyes. She says she envies Yurika for having such a caring mother. The mother melts, gently patting the girl's head. She says she wishes this girl were her real daughter. Yurika stares, wondering what this girl is truly after. The mother explains she came to return something Yurika forgot. The classmate holds up a small, familiar pen case. Yurika's eyes go wide. How does she have that? The classmate adds she also has a pen to return. Yurika is completely confused. She never lent her a pen. The classmate leans over the table to open the case. With a little oops, she knocks the whole thing over. Its contents scatter across the wooden table. 2 small foil packets tumble into view. A dead silence hangs heavy in the air. The mother's face freezes in absolute shock. Yurika's own face drains of all its color. The mother picks one up, her hand trembling slightly. She holds it up, demanding to know what it means. Yurika panics, swearing she knows nothing about it, but her mind flashes back to whispers in the classroom. The classmate's true thoughts reveal a cold, simmering rage. She thinks Yurika is disgusting, and she's been too lenient. In the present, the mother's eyes are ice cold. She demands Yurika show her everything. Her wallet, her receipts, and her phone. Right now. Yurika stands frozen, trapped in a waking nightmare.